Nomad Podcast.
Hello and welcome back to another episode of Nomad Podcast. And today, first of all, Happy New Year. And second of all, I have the wonderful Matteo Pellegrini joining me, and he's the founder of the Orange Pill app. And for today's episode, the topic of today's episode is basically him sharing his ideas, how he got the idea for the Orange Pill app, what his rabbit hole story is, and many more interesting topics. And without spoiling too much, let's get right to the episode. Today's episode, I have the wonderful Matteo joining me, the founder of the Orange Pill app. And I normally start the episodes with people sharing their rabbit hole story. So would you like to do that, Matteo?
Yeah, why not? Thanks for having me. My rabbit hole story, it's very long, but I'll make it short. I first time I heard about it was $5, probably back in 2012. I'm pretty sure it was 2012. Yeah. Anyway, and I, didn't buy. I thought it was a scam. And then in 2016, maybe 2017, there was a famous Twitter thread from Naval Ravikant, which is a venture capitalist, philosopher, technologist that I knew from from my career, and he was talking about blockchains. I'm like, what is he talking about? Because at that point, I still thought it was a scam, right?
Mm.
And then I'm like, well, if he's talking about this, maybe it's not a scam. And that's basically how I started paying attention. And then I got one Bitcoin, two, I don't even remember. I got some Bitcoins. Then the price went up to 20,000 in 2017. And then I thought that that I was too smart to just buy Bitcoin. So I bought a bunch of shitcoins in 2018, which was at the beginning of the bear market, which didn't work out well. And then I kind of give up on the whole thing. I was like, okay, this is definitely a scam, as I thought. And then I read the Bitcoin Standard from Saifedean,
Mm.
which is when I discovered that Bitcoin is not just a technology, and that's kind of was my beginning of the journey down the rabbit hole. So summer of 2018.
Okay. So sorry, just adjusting my mic there. So basically it was like every story of every Bitcoin. It's like first you got Bitcoin, then you bought some shitcoins instead of Bitcoin, and then you went back to Bitcoin immediately.
Pretty
So
much, yeah.
pretty much, yeah. So let's talk about one of your coolest. Can I call it a child? Because for me, it's like probably it's like a child for you. But you are the founder of the Orange Pill app, as I mentioned briefly at the beginning. And I wanted to know, and probably also many viewers of my channel want to know how that came into place. Because I always ask myself, how did you have the idea for a platform, basically from my Bitcoin for Bitcoins, where they can chat and even send some sats now. But we can get to that back to that later. So, how did the idea of the Orange Pill app came into place? What were your thoughts on it? And did it just came up like out of nowhere, or was it already like something that you always had in mind?
So what happened in sorry, I went to so I went to Bitcoin Miami in 2021, which is when Bukele announced El Salvador Bitcoin legal tender. Anyway, so I went there, and for the first time, I met Bitcoiners in real life, and I was like, "Wow, this is amazing!" Everybody's friendly, everybody, because back then and even now, like most people think you're crazy, you're conspiracy theories if you're into Bitcoin. So I went to Miami. It was a great time. And then when I went back to LA, I thought, okay, let's go find some Bitcoiners in LA.
Mm.
And eventually I found a meetup. I drove an hour. And when I got to the meetup, it's like half of the people were not into Bitcoin.
Okay.
It's like NFT, Ethereum, just like at the top of the 2021 run. And so I was disappointed. And as I was driving back, I started wondering, maybe there's another way to find Bitcoiners that I don't know. Sorry, to find Bitcoiners locally, right? Because that was the goal. that I have no idea exists, and it didn't exist. So eventually I said, okay, let's do something about this problem. Hopefully it's not just me with this problem. So there's going to be more people, and that's how I got the idea of Orange Club, which is a location-based social network for Bitcoiners. So you can find local Bitcoiners, local events, and now local merchants too that accept Bitcoin. They're not a lot, but they'll get more and more and more. So that's how I got the idea, just trying to solve my own problem.
Okay, cool. So basically, it's like PTC map where you see like every store in a sense, but with also messaging and events, that you see, and that's pretty cool. Then, I recently saw a
Thank you.
post on Twitter. You're welcome. On
Mm.
Twitter, or X as they call it now, where you guys shared a post about that you also would like to, or already implemented Lightning in a sense. That you also created like a wallet. Would you like to share something about that? Because I think that's
Yeah,
really
sure.
interesting. So
Yeah, so you can zap people already if you add your own LN URL. So it's a Lightning Network address.
Mhm.
So let's say you have a wallet like Wallet of Satoshi. You get your
Yeah.
address, you put it inside the Orange app, and then you can receive sats from other people with one click. However, the problem is that 80% of the people on Orange app, which you think are the most advanced, passionate, because you have to pay to join Orange Club. You have to pay because back to my meetup experience, I didn't want to create an app that had half of the people that are not into Bitcoin, like the meetup I've gone, right? So it's completely paywall. There's no free trial, so there's no scammers and there's no bots, spammers. Anyway, so at some point I realized that I was not gonna explain to 10,000 people, because now we have 15,000 members,
Mhm.
what is the Lightning Network, where to get a wallet, how does it work? And so I thought, you know what, I'm just gonna build a wallet and put it inside the app. So everybody has it by default. You can change it if you want to use your wallet, we don't care.
Yeah.
And actually now that it's almost ready. If you go to the web app, which is web.orangeweb.com, you can see the wallet. And then it will be in the app probably in a week or two. And it's going to be Lightning only, so not on chain. Because on chain, you have to pay the fees, and then the transaction gets stuck. And then I got an email,
Yeah.
hey, what happened to my? I say, I don't want to do that. Also, the fees in theory should only go up with adoption. And so eventually sending on-chain transaction is going to be very expensive. Thankfully, we have the Lightning Network, which is almost free, instant. It's beautiful. It's so beautiful. And yeah, so the other thing I was thinking today, I give you a scoop. We could do something very special. For example, like I think you're in Switzerland or London.
Yeah. UK. UK. I'm from
UK? Okay,
Switzerland, but
great.
I live in the UK.
Right. I remember that. So imagine you could go onto the app and say, I want to zap everybody in the UK.
Mhm.
And you say 10 sats, whatever. And then we'll tell you how many people are in the UK because we had the geolocation. By the way, geolocation is approximate. It's anonymous. We don't do KYC. And we can do all these crazy use cases like, I want to zap everybody in London. I want to zap everybody. And then you can add a message. So when you zap somebody, you can add a message to it and say you can promote, I don't know, maybe you open a restaurant in London, say, new restaurant, open in London, accept Bitcoin, and you zap everybody in London, and only we can do it because we're going to have a wallet. So everybody's going to have an address by default. And because we had the geolocation, actually we can do more stuff that is even more like crazy. But yeah, we're going to do a lot of beautiful use cases with this wallet. We're going to give it to like 10,000 people overnight. So think about this. Overnight, we're going to onboard 10,000 people to the Lightning Network, just like that.
Yep. Okay. Wow. I mean,
Pretty cool, huh?
especially when and when you think of it as, you know, Bitcoin wise, spreading the message of Bitcoin, that's also a good example of how you could do it. I mean, I know a few friends which aren't on the Bitcoin train, but they have like, I all my friends, I showed them Bitcoin. The first thing I did, download a wallet, Lightning wallet, and all that. Wallet of Satoshi is the simplest. I downloaded
Right,
it with them. I showed them how it works. 12 those 12 words, right? Seed phrase and everything, everything. I showed them everything. I even told them the story of how Bitcoin was invented. I showed them some stuff from the white paper. I even explained the blockchain stuff with using apples or toilet paper because I know it from a friend of mine, which explained it to me like that. But they just downloaded the app and never used it, and I'm like, well, why do you download it even if you don't use it at all? If you don't even believe in Bitcoin or anything that we guys as Bitcoiners do, why downloaded it then? Just say, no, I don't want it, then I leave you alone, right? And
right.
with that, basically sending sats to those people, they could, get into the flow. Oh, it's that simple, sending money to each other or using Bitcoin, with each other. Yeah, it's not hard. It's not magic. It's just maths, it's simple. So, and I guess in a sense, it's like me, I mean, my everyday standard and your everyday standard. Like, I mean, there are tons of places I know in London where I can buy stuff with Bitcoin, pay with Bitcoin, and I guess maybe in future times they will get it, but I'm not sure
Yeah,
currently how
eventually. It takes time. Takes time.
it takes time. Yeah, but how is it looking with you guys then? Are you everywhere in the world, or is there still some marketplaces where you guys aren't available? Let's say, I mean, you probably are available in the UK, Europe, US, I guess. But what with stuff like or countries like Russia, China, continents like Africa? Is there a lot of spread there, or not so much?
You can actually go to
Hmm.
orangeblab.com/explorer and you can see
Okay.
where the people are. Yeah, we are like there's people in Saudi Arabia, um,
Okay.
South Africa, Japan, South Korea. Yeah, China. Somebody's in China. I mean, at least one person, maybe two, they're in China with the app. I don't know what they're doing, but they have it. So we are everywhere you can download an app from the App Store, you can use Orange Blab. Very simple.
Is Donald J. Trump also using the Orange app? That would be a
Sorry, who?
interesting question. Donald Trump, President Trump, is he
No,
also
I don't
using the
think.
Orange app? That
Yeah,
would
I
be
don't think.
interesting to know if, or
Maybe he
like
has
some of the
a
senators.
maybe he has a like a old account on the Orange
Yeah,
Blab.
on
I don't
like
think
on
he
like
has
his
time to
old.
go to the meetups.
Yeah, or yeah. I mean, he
Most.
basically has meetups every day in his office. I
Yeah,
mean,
yeah, yeah.
his first meetup was like signing like 200 bills, so that was his first meetup. But yeah, let's get back to the Orange Pill app because I also wanted to ask one more thing. I recently got a email, or yeah,
Hmm.
an email actually, where it's like a marketing email, where you guys mentioned that you can now own a piece of the Orange Pill app. And maybe would you like to also share some stuff about that
Yeah,
because I
yeah.
think that's also really
So
interesting for you.
yeah. So basically, we are so we're currently fundraising, and
Mhm.
so we're growing fast. We need to hire more people and go to more conferences. And so one of our previous investor have launched this platform called Thunder Funder, where you can get a piece of a company. Like you can become a shareholder. I think the minimum amount to invest is $250, so it's like very low, and the maximum is 25,000.
Mhm.
And so because at the end of the day, Orange Lab would not exist without the Bitcoiners that use the app. It's a social network. It's not just a cliche when you say this app wouldn't exist without you. It's actually true because unlike let's say if I make shoes, the shoes exist no matter what, even if
Yeah.
nobody buys them. But a social network if there are no people, there's no value, there is no product, right? And so I figured, like it's cool that Orange Pill app that I created, it belongs not just me and my investors and my the rest of the team, the developers. It could belong to anybody that wants to own a piece of the company. So yeah, so it's standardfunded.com, and you can invest as small as $250, and then you become a shareholder. And then one day when we go public or we sold the company to Michael Saylor, who knows? Somebody
Yeah.
buys the company, and then you get and you get paid in Bitcoin directly. We'll see.
Okay, cool. So basically, it's like any other thing that you can do. You buy some shares, and then once the shares get sold, you get your part. And okay,
Yeah,
cool.
it's kind of
So
like
in
buying Bitcoin when you think about it. It's kind of like buying Bitcoin, except it's
yeah,
not as liquid, obviously. The same
and
idea.
and and in a sense, it's also cool because then, as a person who uses the Orange app, you're also a shareholder and you're
Right.
helping out, or I
Exactly.
guess you're also benefiting from it. But I mean, also what you said with that, you also have to cover some expenses. I mean, of course you have to have some fees or you have to pay for certain stuff because you guys also need to live from certain stuff. I mean, the guys working for you who IT, marketing and all that stuff, they also need to live from something and work for something, right? So
Yeah, yeah.
how is it then with license wise? Because that just crossed my mind, because in Europe for stuff like that you need like tons of licenses, right? How is it with
To
also
do
like
what?
the
Sorry.
US or what
Sorry, to license to do what? What kind of
to
license?
like the to the app. I mean, do you need a license for the app, or do you need generally just
So
licenses for what you guys doing?
no, we don't, because we don't touch fiat. So if you don't touch fiat, you don't need any license.
Okay.
The problem is if you're an exchange like Relai, right? Like if you
Yeah.
hold people funds, so you allow them to convert fiat for Bitcoin, that's when you
Hmm.
need a license. We're never gonna
Okay.
touch fiat. It's Bitcoin only. You can only send Bitcoin. Um, so yeah, we don't need any license really. It's very simple.
But what about people who pay your like
The membership.
the amount, the membership? Yeah, because I know some friends which pay them in fiat still. They don't use
Yeah,
Bitcoin
yeah.
to pay them.
Well,
Even
so
there.
yeah, that's like, so the way it works when you pay in fiat, so you can buy a membership in Bitcoin, goes directly to us. But if
Mhm.
you pay in fiat, it doesn't go directly to us. It goes to Apple or Google.
Then
So
from
they
Apple.
have the
Okay.
license. We don't, and then we get paid from Apple and Google at the end of the month, or sometimes 2 months later. They take their 30% commission, and then so in theory, our customer is Apple and Google, right? That's where we get the
Mhm.
money from. So thankfully they deal with all this compliance and licensing. But yeah,
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
can just, if you're paying Bitcoin, it's very fast.
Yeah.
You don't have to give your name to Apple or Google. You just pay in Bitcoin, you get the account, and you're good to go.
Okay. Cool. I mean, it's also borderless in a sense. You have no one
Yeah,
controlling you in a sense. Like
exactly.
we have some
It's the
people in
best.
in the EU, like Humpty Dumpty. Oh no, that's that's
Yeah,
that's in the US. That's not in
yeah, yeah,
Europe. The other one, both equally worse. But I have maybe one or two more questions before we're gonna
yeah.
end this episode. I told you it's gonna be a short one. Uh, you mentioned conferences. So conference wise, where are you guys gonna be? Are you just mainly focusing on more US based conferences, or also Europe, or maybe if there's one in the UK, who knows? Like we saw with Peter Peter McCormack in Bedford with his football club. So where's the next conference where we can see you guys?
So we will be in Las Vegas in May.
Cool.
Obviously, it's the biggest conference. It's close to me. I'm in Los Angeles. It's like an hour flight. Very simple. We
Yeah,
might
yeah,
even do a bus. So I have so many now because of the app. I have so many Bitcoin friends in Los Angeles, and
yeah.
maybe we'll do a bus. I don't know. I'm thinking. And
Like a party bus.
Yeah, something like a meetup bus, and then I'm gonna be in Canada in August. There's
Mhm.
in Vancouver. There's a Bitcoin Learning conference. Sorry, the name of the conference is Bitcoin Learning. And then Prague, I might miss it again. I don't know. I miss it every single year. I know everybody talks very highly of it. Um, but it's far from me, right? Because I'm in California. And
Yeah,
yeah, for now, that's the only two that are confirmed. And I'm sure they're gonna be more, and I'm sure they're gonna be, but for at least Las Vegas and Vancouver for sure.
yeah. I guess the closest one and the biggest one is like the simplest
What
for
about
for
you?
you guys.
What about you?
Me, I'm gonna be in Las Vegas as well, mate. So maybe I see you.
Nice.
Hopefully.
Yeah, of
Um.
course.
So Las Vegas, Prague, Plan B, of course. Ah, Plan B. Will you be at Plan B? I just that crossed my mind as well.
As of now, no. Maybe
Okay.
yes. We'll see. Maybe we'll see. I mean, we're fundraising. Let's see how it goes, and maybe we have funds to go to a lot of conferences. Also have a
Yeah.
family. It's not easy
Yeah.
for me
I
to
mean,
fly. I'm
yeah.
not. I'm not 21 like you.
Mate. I'm 19. I'm not 21.
I hope I'm
Aha,
not
21.
doxing your. I'm not
Aha,
doxing your
21.
age.
21. 21 because no, I'm 19. But I should actually tell
Wow,
people that
even
I'm
better.
21. Now that yeah. So
Even better.
um, cool. Uh. One more question for you before I'm gonna end this episode is where can people find you on social media wise? Are you on Nostr, Twitter, and where can also people find the Orange Pill app? I guess you guys also have social media. So where can people find all of that?
The best way to get in touch with me is on Orange Flop. Obviously, I
Oh,
check the message all the time, all day long. It's the only app that I'm allowed to be addicted to. The other app I'm addicted to is X, of course, Twitter. So I'm just my name. You can just find my name. And if you want to download the app, it's on App Store, Google Play Store, Orangeville app. And the website is orangeville.com. And that's about it. Yeah, that's where you can find me.
okay, cool. So thank you, Matteo, for joining me today in this short episode. Dear people, I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you very much. It was always a pleasure. And yeah, that was another episode of Nomad Podcast. I hope you enjoyed it. And Matteo, see you in Las Vegas. And dear people, see you next time. Bye.
Thank you. Thank you, Janice.
Nomad Podcast.